Hey guys, Eden here. Today we will be talking about Nekopara and what could possibly be a little controversial. I genuinely have no clue how people are going to receive this video, and dear God, I am scared. Nekopara is a pretty popular franchise that could be considered pretty problematic to your average consumer. On the outside, it looks like a game or anime about cat girls working in a cafe. And in essence, that is what it is. The anime alone can possibly be considered an allegory for slavery, but we will be getting to that very soon. Something I wanted to make upfront abundantly clear is that this video is more or less focused entirely on the anime. The thing about the game is that it has everything the anime has and much more that I don't even want to bother defending or arguing against in a video. That is at least a million times more a slippery slope, which is absolutely hilarious considering Mommy Basement supported his wife playing the game but was absolutely up in arms at the sight of the anime. 5-month-old drama aside, let's get back to the discussion of cat girls and slavery. You know, the important stuff. Does Nekopara condone slavery? That is the question we will be answering today, but it won't be an easy one to answer. The world of Nekopara is a nonchalantly terrifying one, and all of our evidence, interestingly enough, can actually be found as fast as episode 1. I promise I wasn't just lazy when making this video. Episode 1 is actually enough content to find out. Prior to discussing specific events, I want to get a little anecdotal and I don't mean to flex my huge gamer cock on you or anything. I actually saw the world premiere of this anime back at last year's AX. I think it's important to note this before we get into the real argument, and that is that no one who actually plays or enjoys Nekopara really even gives a shit about the possible slavery angle of it all. I'll have some footage I took on screen right now, but being surrounded by about 500 smelly-ass Nekopara fans in a convention hall waiting for the Nekopara world premiere really made me realize that people who consume Nekopara the most are probably the people who care the very least about this issue. Hypothetically, asking them this question would probably lead you to a 17-minute conversation as to why coconut's huge-ass titties are the best thing on planet Earth. I mean, they are. What I am trying to say before really getting into it is that this is a huge non-issue. The vast majority of people who consume Nekopara content are simply in it for the waifus, the hentai, and the cat ears. Pure surface level. But if we are here to answer the question, does Nekopara condone slavery, we must first ask ourselves, what is slavery? Well, according to Google, slavery is the state of being a slave. Fuck. As you can imagine, slavery is kind of a complex topic, and there's no exact definition for what constitutes it, especially in the context of cat girls. So since I am clearly the world's smartest intellectual, I decided to make my own definition for the sake of the video. Slavery is the forceful employment, control, or dehumanization of a sentient being, usually making a person's rights equal to that of property. So now that we have a definition of slavery, we need to answer 3 more important questions to reach a conclusion on whether or not these cat girls are actually slaves. Are these cat girls being forced to work at the cafe? Are these cat girls sentient? Or more importantly, in equal knowledge to that of human beings? And if so, do these cat girls even have basic human rights? All of these questions and more can easily be answered by following Chocola's actions in the first episode. The day starts with Vanilla and Chocola sleeping in bed together, making cute anime girl breathing noises. That is, until their alarm clock finally rings 7 a.m. What? They don't want to get out of bed at 7 a.m.? Oh my god, this anime is so relatable. I hate getting out of bed at 7 a.m. Chocola is literally me. Get out of bed, capitalist scum. Eventually, they get out of bed and go greet the owner of the cafe with a good meowing master.
Meowing master? Good morning, master.
After being treated to breakfast by said master, they begin cleaning the cafe and preparing it for the operations of the day. They work a normal shift, but can't take any breaks until the other cat girls arrive to cover for them. Once they arrive, they work a normal shift until the end of the day, and at this point, I was like, where the fuck is the slavery? You know, not that I wanted there to be cat slavery or anything. I was at a little bit of a loss. It seemed like these cats were working a normal 9 to 5, and things actually seemed pretty normal. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Until you make it to the second half of the first episode, and holy fuck, this surprised the shit out of me the first time I saw it. Through dialogue of a little girl and her mom, the anime states that these cat girls are not allowed to leave and move around in public without being accompanied by their master. They can circumvent these restrictions by passing a specific test and wearing a golden bell around their neck at all times, implying that yes, these cat girls are not by default given basic human rights. And as we could tell earlier by them working an entire shift and knowing how to cook, They are equal in knowledge to that of humans, minus maybe their mannerisms and some behavioral actions still being akin to that of a cat. And the fact that they are typically not allowed to act on their own insinuates them not being able to leave the cafe and do whatever they please. Now, this is all fine and dandy until you make it to the end of the first episode and shit gets a little weird. I remember at this point in the anime when I was watching the world premiere, I looked over at my friend and said something along the lines of, "Yo, are these cat girls like second-class citizens or some shit?" And to my astonishment, he said, "Just don't worry about it." As you can imagine, this quickly prompted me to worry about it. I had so many questions, like, if they have in the game, does that mean in order to make more cat girls, you actually have to have... I was feeling a lot of emotions at that given point in time. I was a little bit uncomfortable, to say the least. But I decided to stop thinking about it and just enjoy the show on the surface level, the way God clearly intended. But what really threw me off my rocker was the last scene where they introduced the new anime original character. Chocola goes to run an errand but gets lost because she's a gosh darn idiot. While lost, she runs into a little cute stray cat. She talks to it, but it doesn't reply. Possibly out of fear, possibly out of pure retardation, who knows? The cat runs away similar to how an actual stray cat would act, and Chocola goes on with running her errands. Once she makes it back to the cafe, however, she is shocked to realize that the stray cat girl actually followed her all the way back. She almost instinctively hides her from her master out of fear as to what can possibly happen to her. And that made me think, what happens to those who run away or try to live on their own? Why was she so shocked to see a cat without a master in the first place? Do they put down the cats that run away or misbehave? I don't know. Does Nekopara condone slavery? Yes. But the type of slavery it does condone and depicts is clearly nowhere near similar in cruelty to real-world slavery, and it really shouldn't be considered as bad. But even when considered different, it still doesn't change the fact that it condones slavery within its own fictional setting. Personally, I couldn't give less of a shit as this is a fictional form of media that isn't actually trying to commentate on real-world slavery or defend real-world slavery, so it really can do whatever the fuck it wants. I just think it's funny that the cat girls are still gonna die after 12 years.
No, don't pull! No! Ah!
Anyways, if you like this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. There's a $2 and $5 tier that can get you featured at the end of the videos, and at the end of the day, you'll be supporting me, the funny man Kore Eden, on his journey towards YouTube stardom. If that's too much, I understand. Consider supporting through liking, commenting, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and all that jazz. And above all else, I will see you next time, gamers.
Oh, yo, Capitan, Cola, Yusha, Creamy, Ernesto, and Nequis, Jonathan, Urbina, Yuo, Shitsubo, Stanley, Mike Sayo, Rokiri, Yamafucker, Shabatrusty, thank you for watching this. All my other persons, thank you so much.